Welcome, manga lovers. Today, we're exploring the delightful chaos of Kanan-sama is Easy as Hell. Join us for a roller coaster of romance and comedy as we navigate the hilarious world of misunderstandings and quirky characters. Let's dive into the madness. In one corner of Tama City Hunu Academy, where vigorous studying students attend, a demon girl expressed her hunger, thinking of how she wanted her meal to grow a bit more. But now she couldn't help but go against her decision. A young boy named Kyugi was standing in the student guidance room of the moral committee, not knowing how it happened. The young demon girl welcomes him into the room, while Kyugi wonders aloud how he ended up there. The demon girl then tells him the reason he was there. She had called for his soul with the thought of gobbling it down. She further introduced herself as the daughter of the great demon of gluttony Beelzebub, Kanan the Gourmet. Her position as the Public Morals Committee was only a disguise to infiltrate the school in order to devour the souls of hardy high school students. She asked Kyugi to be greatly honored to be eaten by her. But things took a turn when Kyugi really bowed. Expressing his gratitude, Keenan Zeeble was surprised because she expected him to tremble in fear, but didn't. Kyugi revealed how he had always dreamed of being gobbled up by a demonic seductress like her, and also intimately cosplay together. Kanan Zabel became flustered after hearing this and expressing that she have never done something like that and is still innocent after her several thousand years of living. She was able to stop Kyugi from taking of his cloth, while the later suggested other intimate actions between them till he concluded that they start dating first. And still in her flustered state, Kanan Zebel agreed. While Kanan Zebel took her fellow students marveled at her, discussing her remarkable achievements as both a student and an athlete. Savoring the attention she had garnered through gaining their trust and playing the role of the model student to deceive them later, Kanan Zebel's enjoyment was abruptly interrupted when Kyugi approached her, asking if they could walk home together. Kanan found it unbelievable that she, a demon, had been charmed into entering a romantic agreement with someone as insignificant as Kyugi, and was now being invited to walk home together. Despite feeling upset about being referred to as his girlfriend, Kanan eased her anger when she considered that he was still her prey, and she vowed to ensure he understood his place. While walking home together, Kyoi inquired why Kanan declined to walk beside him. As Kanan strolled beside him, she privately deemed walking beside Kyugi embarrassing but feigned concern about potential attacks due to her noble status, using Kyugi as a shield. Instead of becoming angry, Kyugi pledged to safeguard her and extended his hand for her to hold, believing that merely holding hands could result in producing an heir. Instead, she chose to bind Kyugi's hands instead. Once again, Kyugi did not express any discontent and commended Kanan for her affection, acknowledging her inability to stay away from him, even if it entailed restraining him. As Kanan dragged Kyugi along the road, she was angry by the fact that she had left the demon realm to the humans to eat the finest souls, but being around Kyugi throws her off. In the demon realm, Kanan had approached her feasting father, who invited her to join him, but she refused and stated her request to be allowed to go to the human realm to find something tastier to eat, which is human souls. Her father readily agreed to her request, but reminded her of his encounter with some angel trouble when he had gone to the human realm to eat. Kanan asked her father not to worry, attempting to leave but was stopped by her father, who asked her if she had eaten with anyone in recent time, but Kanan left after telling him she preferred her diner ate alone. Presently, Kanan thinks after coming to human realm, Kyugi had been a struggle since then. When Kanan came back to her senses, she realized that she had been dragging Kyugi on the floor with the rope tied around his hand. Even though Kyugi expressed he was happy being dragged around the park, the rope was let loose and Kyugi bought them a croquettes to eat. Kanan looked at the snack and asked if there was anything to put on it before eating, but Kyugi became dramatic and went on about how the croquettes were the best and needs nothing else. Kanan thought he was sweet, as she rumbled off about the snack and decided to eat it. After a bite, Kanan couldn't help but comment on how delicious it is, even though everything she had been eating since had been bland to taste. Kyugi commented on how the snacks are much more delicious, probably because he was eating with Kanan. Hearing this, Kanan recalled her father's question if she had eaten with anyone for a while. The following morning, Kanan awoke in her room, a strategic choice in her effort to blend in with a regular human family, allowing her to carry carry on with her activities discreetly and without arousing suspicion. Descending the stairs, Kanan was welcomed by her father, mother, and younger brother. Employing her magic, Kanan had manipulated the family of 3, inducing the belief that she was the eldest among them. Kanan selected this family, recognizing the importance of exploiting the kindness within it. However, it seemed necessary to reapply the brainwashing periodically, especially when the family began to question the arrival of a daughter. Departing for school with a sense of delight, Kanan found amusement in playing with humans. She boldly proclaimed that humans were merely sustenance, inadvertently responding to Kyugi's question before realizing what she had said. Still taken aback, Kanan inquired of Kyugi how he knew her address. He disclosed that he had asked their homeroom teacher for it, under the impression he was going to Kanan's house to confess, and the teacher had inadvertently revealed her address. Despite feeling embarrassed at the prospect of being seen with Kyugi, Kanan declined to walk together. Leveraging her status as a demon, she challenged Kyugi to catch up with her and promptly started running shortly afterward. An unexpected turn of events occurred, and Kyugi found himself in front of her. Disappointed in herself, Kanan offered him water, but requested that he not finish it, as she intended to drink from it as well. Taking the bottle, Kanan opted to consume all the water to avoid the possibility of Kyugi indirectly kissing her. Kyugi surprised his classmates when he revealed he had a girlfriend, especially because he was usually antisocial. To their further astonishment, he shared that his girlfriend was a senior. Curious, a classmate asked what Kyugi and his girlfriend called each other when they were alone. The student explained that when people love each other, they often use special names to express their feelings. Without waiting for Kyugi's response, the classmate concluded that they must be calling each other by their first names. Meanwhile, Kanan, feeling content while observing humans she referred to as livestock, was interrupted by Kyugi. He insisted that she call him by his first name. Confused by the sudden request, Kanan questioned his meaning. Kyugi expressed his desire for them to use their first names as a sign of intimacy, as they had been using senior and last names. Though irritated by Kyugi's demand, Kanan agreed to call him by his first name when he fed her livestock. During the interaction, Kanan found herself unable to say Kyugi's name despite multiple attempts, surprising herself with her embarrassment. Kyugi questioned if she was embarrassed, and Kanan countered by asking him to call her by her first name first. Kyugi promptly did so, causing Kanan to experience ecstasy. She realized that Kyugi sought the same pleasure but struggled to overcome her embarrassment until she almost left him during their conversation. Kanan reprimanded 2 students, a girl and a boy, after catching them being intimate with each other. The 2 students quickly left the place afraid of Kanan's status in the school as the president of the Public Morals Committee. Even though annoyed at the fact that the students are having relationships when it was prohibited by the school, Kanan soon became smug, thinking of how she would eat their souls later. Her happiness was cut short when Kyugi suddenly appeared, trapping her to the wall. Kanan was shocked and wondered how she, the daughter of the great demon, was tricked into a lover's contract with Kyugi. After being asked, Kyugi stated his reasons for showing up there. He asked Kanan where they should go to commemorate their first time and the fact that it should be a memorable place for them. Misunderstanding what he meant by first time to being intimate, Kanan became flustered and had several thoughts running her mind until Kyugi suggested the park, making her all the more embarrassed and rejected the idea. Kyugi suggested the theater and was rejected again until Kanan made mention of going to Kyugi's house instead, and he was happy that their first date would be at his place. Kanan became clear that she had misunderstood him all along and they were only going for a date. Kanan left him soon after telling Kyugi she would only go over to his house if his parents are home. Following the conclusion of their sports activities, Kanan voiced her complaint about sweating excessively, partly due to the prevailing weather conditions. When Kyugi attempted to approach her, he was halted before getting any closer. Kyugi felt disheartened and jumped to the conclusion that Kanan harbored animosity towards him. He demanded an explanation and questioned whether she only desired his body, all while kneeling, feeling uneasy about the stares they attracted from fellow students. Kanan promptly clarified that she was perspiring profusely and didn't want him to catch a whiff of her odor. Kyugi's demeanor swiftly shifted, and he unexpectedly requested to catch a whiff of her. He went on to explain that boys across the country crave the fragrance of youth. Initially disagreeing with him and suspecting something amiss, Kanan eventually yielded after he convinced her that someone who loves her would indeed appreciate her scent. Having smelled Kanan's shirt, Kyugi discerned the scent of the detergent used for washing. However, in the process, Kanan accidentally dropped her towel, prompting Kyugi to offer his own. After accepting the towel from him, unintentionally, Kanan began inhaling the scent and was caught by Kyugi. On her way home, she purchased citrus fragrances reminiscent of the scent she had experienced on Kyugi's towel. In the demon realm, Kanan's dad got worried after a couple of months since Kanan went to the human realm. He asked Ami, Kanan's maid, to check on her. Ami promised to take care of Kanan and arrived in the human realm. When Ami happily greeted Kanan during an argument with Kyugi, he asked who she was. Kanan explained Ami was her childhood friend and personal attendant. Excited, Kyugi wanted to hear stories about Kanan's childhood. Kanan asked Ami why she was in the human realm and how she convinced her dad. Ami said she came because she cared, and their relationship was more than servant and master. They were childhood friends. Worried about Ami being trouble, Kanan didn't want her to meet Kyugi, thinking Ami was into cheating and that Kyugi would easily give in. Before Kanan could warn Kyugi, Ami asked about him and suggested trying him out. Kanan quickly said Kyugi was her boyfriend, surprising Ami. Ami, shocked about Kanan having a boyfriend after 1,000 years, but she was later disappointed when Kanan described their relationship. Ami thinks it is child's play. Ami insisted on having fun with Kyugi, but he refused, declaring Kanan as his girlfriend. The next day at school, Kanan saw bodies scattered in the corridor leading to a room. Hearing other students talk about a maid, she hurriedly entered the room. Inside, a girl and Ami were in a compromising position. The girl, feeling embarrassed, rushed out when she saw Kanan. Ami greeted Kanan and complimented her, but Kanan wasn't bothered. Instead, she asked for details about what was happening in the corridor, emphasizing that the school was like her ranch for souls, carefully raised to be healthy. She was upset that Ami seemed to have spoiled them. Ami argued that it wasn't her fault, and that Kanan was slow in devouring their souls. Kanan insisted on her standards, bringing up other people whose souls Ami had allegedly sucked. The argument continued until Kanan asked if Kyugi looked charming to Ami, but Ami kept it a secret. Eventually, Kanan calmed down when Ami said positive things about the victims. Their conversation shifted, but Ami refused to answer whether Kyugi looked charming like the others. Outside of the school, Ami spotted Kyugi having lunch with a girl other than her master. An enraged Kanan, who was also present, approached their table. Promptly acknowledging her, Kyugi remarked that it must be fate for them to meet there. Unperturbed by fate, Kanan inquired about the identity of the girl sitting with Kyugi. Kyugi then introduced the girl as his classmate, named Mi Nadeko. Before Kyugi could complete his sentence, Nadeko swiftly interjected, stating that Kyugi should address her by her first name instead of her last, as he used to. Upon hearing this, Kanan became upset and questioned Nadeko about the nature of her relationship with Kyugi. Nadeko responded that she and Kyugi had been close since childhood and shared a friendly bond. The situation escalated further as Ami and Kanan misinterpreted Nadeko's responses, assuming she was also romantically involved with Kyugi. Kanan was on the verge of consuming Nadeko's soul when Kyugi disclosed to Nadeko that Kanan was his girlfriend. Recognizing the misunderstanding, Nadeko attempted various ways to appease Kanan, and it wasn't until Kyugi referred to her as his wife that Kanan was pleased. She asserted that Nadeko had piqued her interest by labeling her as a lower life form, much like how she views other humans. Kanan asked Kyugi to join her on committee duty to patrol the school, and he happily agreed. For Kanan, it wasn't just a regular patrol. She saw it as an opportunity to assert her dominance over Kyugi, wanting him to be like a pet. During their patrol, a girl carrying books tripped, and Kyugi rushed to help her. He offered to assist her to the faculty room, but Kanan intervened, stating they were on patrol. Kanan was frustrated by the attention Kyugi received from other girls, especially when Daifugoin Barika showed interest. Feeling unable to tolerate it any longer, Kanan confronted Kyugi about his actions and their relationship. Kyugi reassured her by declaring himself as her boyfriend. Later, Kyugi received a message from Nabeko about leftover soup, and Kanan asked him not not to pay attention to other girls due to their lover's contract. Pleased, Hyugi called Kanan cute when jealous, and despite Kanan's attempts to deny it, she became helpless when Hyugi started petting her. Until next time, happy reading, and may your favorite character's plot armor remain intact.